4-star review of the president and the bureaucracy. All right, now, to be president, you must be 35 years old, 14 years in the United States, and a natural-born citizen. The only part of that only the president has to be a natural-born citizen. Now, your formal powers, which are powers that are actually in the Constitution, commander-in-chief, appointment powers, making treaties. You also have to talk to Congress at least one time. And of course, one of those is the veto power. And informal means powers that the president has but not in the Constitution. And Lincoln and Roosevelt probably gave the president more of these powers than any other president. Now, Lincoln gave him the power to move troops, increase his part as a commander-in-chief, and Roosevelt gave him the power to get into the economy. Other things, executive privilege means that the president does not have to tell Congress national security secrets. Executive order, president can make something that has the power of a law but does not have to go through Congress. And the other one is the executive agreement. The president can make like a treaty, has the power of a treaty, but does not have to be approved by the Senate. And so there are some of the powers. And let's see. Of course, he has a pocket veto that occurs when he gets a bill. He does not do anything to it, and in the 10 days, if Congress has already left, then the bill's dead. If Congress is still in session, then the bill becomes a law. Okay, legislative powers. That means the powers that the president has over Congress, of course, veto, pocket veto, signing legislation, and so on. Now, line item veto means that the Republicans gave the Democratic president the power to veto just one line in a bill and sign the rest of it. But in the Clinton versus New York, the Supreme Court declared that unconstitutional because it goes against the principle of separation of powers. The 22nd Amendment limited the terms that president can serve to 2, mainly because Roosevelt died during his fourth term. Now, the 25th Amendment does 3 things. It shows us how to replace the vice president. It lets the president give the powers to somebody else, the person next in line, and take them back. And if the president goes crazy, the vice president, with the consent of the majority of the cabinet, can take his powers away. Now, the presidential succession, the president, the vice president, speaker of the House, the president pro tem of the Senate, and the cabinet members. That's who's in line to become president. Presidential coattails is when a very popular president, he can get you to vote for all the other members of his party if you really like him. All right, let's go on some more definitions. Now, mandate. President Obama was elected on the platform that he was going to have national health care. So he thought his job was to fulfill that promise. So he had a mandate to fulfill that, which he did. The Attorney General is the one who legally gives legal advice to the president over things. Of course, we know Electoral College only elects the President of the United States, and you must have 207 electoral votes, and it's based on winner take all, which means you must win a majority of the popular vote to get any of the electoral votes, and then you get them all, except for Maine and Nebraska. National Security Council is the one who advises the president in case we have a national security problem. The vice president does not have very many jobs because the founders thought he was going to be the president of the Senate, which he did not. So tie vote if there's a tie in the Senate. We'll go over more of these powers in a later when we talk about the balance, the how you balance each power. The bureaucracy is all the people working for the president, which is about 3 million. And when Congress says let's have a clean air bill, they create an independent agency to enforce it. A lot of people say that they're too strong because they can make a law, enforce the law, and then judge the law. And a lot of people say these people are not elected and they have way too much power. Now, after Andrew Jackson came to office and he fired everyone who worked for him and gave their jobs to people who could not even read or write, we decided to change it. And so we went to the merit system, which means you have to be qualified to the job, for the job that you do. And here is some different boards and so on. We won't go over that. Now, the Office of Management and Budget does help the president prepare the budget. Okay, the Pendleton Act set up the merit system, also what we call the civil service. The Hatch Act said that if you work for the government, you cannot campaign for anyone during your working hours. You cannot give money. So, we'll stop here, but remember, we are going to have another page where we compare the checks and balances between the three branches, and we'll go into some more things about the president. Thank you.